Hello, welcome back to week number 4 here in the WGL APAC season number 1. We're into our 4th day of our 4th week, and it's our second broadcast day. My name, of course, Jordan Mays. Joining me, as always, Alex Blakey. And, well, we've had a fantastic day yesterday. It was some really crazy games coming out, so hopefully we can repeat that today, Alex.
Hopefully, should be pretty good today. I know we've got definitely some top-of-the-table clashes lined up for today, Jordan. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this one started. If we see matches to the quality that we saw yesterday, then, well, we're in for a treat.
Yeah, look, there was certainly some amazing matches coming out yesterday, some unpredictable results, and really the one in particular that I'm mostly speaking about here is the Karen Tiger versus Twist matchup, which went to 5-4.
Yeah, that was an amazing game right there, Twist. They really deserved the win in that one, in my opinion. But in the end, Karen Tiger managing to take it out on, well, an unfamiliar map to Twist. That was Cliff, of course. So, fantastic match, and we saw some, a couple of 5-0s, 5-1s there, which, were closer than they kind of reflect on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, the Gold Bass and team efficiency in particular was, it was a 5-1, as you can see on your screen there, but certainly there was probably 2 or 3 rounds where Gold Bass got it down to a 1v1, and I think at least twice it was a one-shot sort of bit of damage amount.
There was all that was in it, exactly. Yeah, no, it was very close there between Gold Bass and team efficiency as well. And of course, we saw so many highlights coming out of yesterday's matches as well, like that intense standoff and the Twist Karen Tiger match on Ghost Town, of course, where we saw, I think she was Shino Zakat versus 2 members, and he just wasn't able to get through the E100 blockade that Twist had set up in Ghost Town. So that was pretty intense, honestly. Like, in terms of World of Tanks esports, that was one of my top moments ever, I think, that I've watched live.
Certainly was an exciting, probably the most exciting part of the season, I think, so far, at least for me personally.
Definitely.
From having seen all these games, I think that was really probably the play that sticks out for me.
100%, got to agree with you there. And, well, hopefully, with any luck, we'll be seeing some more of these plays today. So I know we've got obviously 4 matches lined up for everyone, and for those that may not know, of course, all of our matches are played in a best-of-9 format, and if you do manage to win that best-of-9, then you get 3 points. As long as you don't win in a tiebreaker. If you win in a tiebreaker, you get 2 points. Lose in a tiebreaker, 1 point. And of course, all of those points go towards our standings.
Yeah, well, speaking of the standings, there's been some interesting developments coming out from yesterday. So we'll have a look and see how things are turning out. Meltdown securing that 2nd position. Coalition Zoo, even if they win today, they're not going to be able to overtake Meltdown.
Yeah, no, exactly. Meltdown, they're looking really, really strong right now, and with two tiebreaker wins, only 1 loss under their belts so far. That
was to EL as well.
Exactly, to EL Gaming. They are looking really, really hard to beat, but Meltdown. I feel as though maybe in the future we might see some teams start to kind of contest them. We've seen a bit of a shake-up, of course, this week so far with all of these top teams up the top of the scoreboard, getting so close to each other as well. So that is, something which I think we're going to continue to see as the top of the ladder really, start to adapt more to this season's kind of changes that we've seen. We're 4 weeks in. Right, and the first kind of 2 weeks, I want to say, all of the teams were playing fairly similarly in terms of how they played last season. Yeah. Right, but now we're starting to see some really interesting, really diverse strategies. That 4-mouse strat that we saw yesterday, apparently popular over in the CIS EU regions occasionally.
Haven't seen it at all.
Haven't seen it until yesterday here in APAC. Yeah. So. With any luck, we'll see more of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some changes on those standings. Obviously, we're going to be seeing some coming out today as well. The likes of Karen Tiger, Dark Wars, B-Gaming, I think probably just sitting a little bit down the standings to where they'd want to be. Yep. But they're all playing today. So those teams certainly have got a bit of an opportunity to really shift themselves up in the standings. And speaking of today, here's our schedule. Starting off, it's going to be B-Gaming and Run.
B-Gaming and Run. Should be an interesting one. Run, obviously, down at the bottom of the table at the moment. B-Gaming, up the top. Like, I don't know. We'll talk more about it as we get nearer to the match, but it is going to be hard for Run. But the match which I'm looking forward to the most today is the one we've got right after that. EL Gaming and the Coalition Zoo. Right at the top of the table. 1 versus 3. And I honestly do feel as though TCZ might be able to give EL the closest match that they've had to date.
Yeah, look, I think TCC is probably one of the stronger teams that EL has had to verse. Having said that, they did play against Meltdown in the first week, but certainly felt like Meltdown at that point in time wasn't as strong of a side as they are now. So I guess there's an argument for and against that sort of situation. But TCZ, it's certainly going to be a difficult game for them, especially considering they came off a pretty devastating loss yesterday against Meltdown, going down 5-1. I would say TCZ probably would have wanted to get a few more rounds on the board there, if not a win. So they really want to pick up something here against EL Gaming.
It's very tricky, isn't it? Whether TCZ should have picked up a few more rounds in yesterday's match. I feel as though they definitely had the potential to, but I suppose today's a new day. It's a fresh day. They've got to come in with a new mindset coming up against EL Gaming, and they haven't really got too much to lose in terms of elimination placing. They're sitting okay for that, so they're really just got to bust out everything they can and try and get a win against the Giants.
All right, well, speaking of that, we'll leave that for later. We're going to be heading into our first matchup between, obviously, B Gaming and Run, and our first team off the rank, it is B Gaming, sitting pretty nicely on number 6, but I dare say they're going to be pushing themselves up the rankings, or at least hoping to, after this round.
Yeah, definitely. B Gaming right here, up on number 6 there. I mean, they're a very solid team all around, and we have seen occasionally some interesting strats coming out of B Gaming, but overall, I think they deserve a little bit of a higher spot than number 6, but of course the competition is so fierce right now up the top of the ladder that it's hard for them to get higher than they are. So this opportunity against Run should be a good time for B Gaming just to pick up some points that they need. It should be a clean three points for them, right? They should be able to pick this up. I'm just thinking maybe 5-1.
I would suspect it's going to be a pretty safe match for B Gaming. Obviously, their opponents are going to be Run, and at the moment, Run not looking too great in the season, currently sitting in 10th, a little bit above Twist, who haven't actually got a win. Run, from what I'm aware, have actually picked up a win. They have got one win, so they're not going too bad, but again, they definitely are in sort of a similar situation to Twist in that they really need to pick up pretty much all the wins from here on out that they can, otherwise they're going to be dropped out of the season.
Yep. Yeah, there we go. So, Run right there. I mean, they've got a couple of interesting players. Matchy HK, we always kind of draw attention to him, but he's one of my favourites. They've got Cognac One, of course, their team captain. And actually, I think Matchy HK this week, for those that were paying attention on social media and following us over on WGL APAC Twitter or any of our Wargaming.net League Facebook accounts, you will have noticed that this week's player profile focused in on Matchy HK from Run. So, yeah, it was good to put the spotlight on towards him. Yep. Of course, his favourite tank being the Object 140 in random battles, and he's got a pretty mean win rate of it, over 60%. With that one, so yeah, a top player.
Definitely a top player, and that's why we're seeing him here in the Gold Series. But I mean, we've heard your prediction 5-1 in the favour of B Gaming.
What are you going
for? I'm going to go 5-2 in the favour of B Gaming.
5-2.
So yeah, let's get this show on the road, so to speak. Get our tank lineups for the first round underway.
Okay, and the first round I do believe is on mine, so we are going to be seeing some speedy sort of lineups from both of these teams, to no surprise. Interesting to see that T49, they're coming out of Run side, and I mean, B Gaming here, this is really their favourite map. They've got 89% win rate on it over the first couple of weeks of the season. They rarely lose. The only time they have lost is once on the defence.
Yep.
So
we saw them play it yesterday as well, actually, and they went 2-0.
Yep.
So definitely a very good map coming out here from B Gaming. I mean, the tank lineups are looking pretty standard here, but really, if I had to take a guess as to how this one's going to turn out, it's going to be a 2-0 for B Gaming on mines. It's not a great map for Run. They've played it a lot, but they don't have a very good win rate on it. So definitely for me, B Gaming.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like a Run map to me. I mean, Run, the times that they've played it, they haven't looked super confident in it. I think from memory as well, they haven't been able to get those nice boosts too easily that we've seen some of these teams really utilising extremely well throughout the season.
Yep.
And for anyone at home, if you're watching, like get a little notepad, write it down, or maybe even check out our VODs on YouTube to see how you can do the boost, because some of them, particularly the boosts on mines, when you can roll all the way up to the side of the map, the left side right there, yep, you can really dish out some damage there, and most people in random battles won't be expecting.
Yeah, certainly those boosts are, I guess, a key point of the matchup now on Mines. No longer is it just how you utilize the map, but also how you utilize the, I suppose, restricted areas of the map. Because once upon a time, no one was able to get up there, but now there's some more avenues opened for attack. And, well, speaking of attack, we are going to be seeing B Gaming with a similar sort of a strategy as we saw them yesterday on their attack, making their way over towards that 2-cap.
Okay, there we go. So it's looking like that 2-cap will be the focus there for B Gaming. They put 100% of their tanks around that area, and CMC Colvin's actually going to be getting spotted proxily. They're getting proxy spotted. Matchy HK as well. So both of those 113s of B Gaming have been lit up. Hand of Run. Run just have to be a little bit careful there because, of course, B Gaming, they've got their 3 members over on the other side, on the coast, on the lighthouse, if you will. So just a little bit tricky for them. But at the moment, we do see Cognac 1 actually looking for a bit of a flank. He's pushed up very aggressively, and Utori here looking like he's going to be moving all the way towards the back of B Gaming. Has to be careful of that T49, of course. If the T49 gets a good shot off, then may be able to inflict some serious damage on towards those Tier 9 Batchats.
Yeah, you're certainly right. We've also seen Taki driving around there behind Utori, so B Gaming really starting to take control of the western part of the map. Having said that, though, Run still have got good control over the hill, so I mean the job is not yet done here for B Gaming. We've only just started off that cap, but well, really, the battle is yet to start.
Yeah, so right now we've got Run just overlooking that cap, just seeing if they can get any sort of easy resets, but that is not going to come in for them. Matchy HK needs to poke his head over the hill and into danger to cut in that T49. Going to be repairing his track the old-fashioned way, the slow way.
Yeah.
But that 152mm cannon of it, not going to be put into use just yet.
I'm really hoping it will get put into use sometime throughout this round, because always fun to see how those dirt guns work out. But so far we haven't really seen anything spectacular from a T49, so still waiting for that. Tiltil under a little bit of pressure here. Has been tracked, but he's going to get that repaired. His gun's also a little bit damaged, and he's only on half HP, so that's not too great. But speaking of pretty good for B Gaming, T49 is no longer part of the picture here. Cud going down straight away to start off the battle here for Run, and B Gaming have got that gun advantage. Now 45 seconds left on the cap as well, so the pressure's starting to build a little bit here for Run. Yeah,
and actually T4 up the top, and going to be coming under fire from Cognac 1, and I'm not too sure if Cognac needs to reload again, but that was a good little bit of damage there coming out, and Cognac is going to be reloading. Has to be cautious now.
Matchy HK under a lot of pressure here. Utori should be able to close this one out, but I think he might have bounced one. No, that was someone else. In the end, Utori is able to get the kill. There is another kill going across the board there. Matchy HK going down on the side of Run as well. At the moment, B Gaming haven't lost a single tank, and they're looking fantastic to pick up this first half of Mines. As we sort of expected, it is probably their best map, so definitely not a map that Run was really too keen on.
Yeah, this is just excellent control here for B Gaming. They've got all of their tanks out on the coast, and you know, it seems like any time Run pokes a tank away, you know, or outside of a you know, little corner rock, something like that, all of B Gaming already, all of B Gaming have their guns trained on them. And now that that tank's just gone down their linear, JH, Taki and Utora are doing a great job playing Wolfpack and sort of getting a little hit and run action happening.
Yep, exactly what you need to be doing in those bat chats. One of which obviously is the Tier 9. That's Utori. Now Keith, the focus of fire here for B Gaming. Kyung Power, the one to pick up the destruction of him. And really, there's only a couple of tanks left here for Run. B Gaming, they've gone about this very well. I mean, they've really put themselves in almost no risk at all of losing this game.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very measured play here from B Gaming. And look, I did, you know, notice that Cognac Wine there, he tried a nice flank. He got a little bit of damage out into T4, but he wasn't able to close it out, obviously, with, you know, all of B Gaming surviving. So just like that, B Gaming take out a fairly simple win against Run on their first half of Mines.
Yeah, so B Gaming up 1-0 after the first half there on Mines, as you mentioned. And I mean, to be honest, we sort of expected that was going to be the case, but really it was almost clinical coming out there from B Gaming. They just put themselves in better positions. They got the slow picks. They didn't necessarily come in for a big aggressive brawl. They didn't do anything risky. They just played the slow and steady game and picked up the kills that they needed.
Yep, exactly. Simple as that. And when you're playing mines, it can be quite hard to deal with that sort of slow coast push, because we saw that run. They managed to get the hill early on. So they did have hill control, which often we kind of hark on a little bit about how hill control on mines is, very, very valuable. But when you've got all of your tanks on the coast, it can be quite hard to actually deal with that from the hill. So that's what we saw. Run weren't able to come up with a strategy to kind of counter B Gaming's coastal push without sacrificing all of their tanks. And
yeah, it was a little bit interesting coming out there from the guys on Run. I would have expected they might have been a little bit more aware that B Gaming might be heading towards that 2-cap, considering they did it yesterday. I mean, if Run was looking at yesterday's match from B Gaming, they would have been aware that that was a possibility. But in the end, Run opted to go for that hill defense, and it didn't work out for them in the end. Particularly, I think Utori and Taki getting around the back there really caused a little bit of havoc for Run.
Yeah, no, it's pretty tricky. So Run just couldn't deal with it, essentially, and by the time that they'd kind of decided to push their 113s up on the hill there as well, we just saw CMC Cohen getting destroyed as the last member of Run up there. And well, I think they just need to wipe the slate and come back into this next half with some new ideas, because obviously that didn't work.
Yeah, well, it definitely didn't work, but they'll be moving over to their attacking side, so they'll have a little bit more of a chance to dictate the pace of the game there on the second half. But moving back a little bit to the first half, I want to see how those bat chats, those flanking bat chats there for B Gaming did on this damage chart. Taki and Utori, no surprise for me to be up towards the top there, but Kyung Power using that TVP to perfection.
Cool. 4,000 damage there by Kyung Power in the TVP. Pretty impressive stat right there. You don't often see that on mines, particularly because the games are so fast. But yeah, unfortunately, Cud in that T49, the 152mm cannon was not able to get any connecting shots, and that's always a danger with the T49, is that even though it is technically a light tank, you can't be moving when you're shooting unless you're right, unless someone's just about ramming you practically.
Yeah.
So it does lend itself towards a slower style of play in that regard. And I think early on in the season, or for the first 3 weeks, we've actually seen the T49. It's only had about a 38% win rate, a success rate, so far in the entire season. So really, it hasn't worked out too well for these teams that have been picking it. And I like seeing the T49 because it's a little bit different. Not your usual AMX 1390 or 210 bat chats, but it just hasn't worked out too well so far.
I mean, I sort of agree in the sense that I like seeing the T49, but I also don't like seeing it because it just doesn't seem like it's being relevant at all in any of these matches that we've seen it picked up in. So I don't know if it's necessarily the best choice coming out from these teams, but regardless, we'll head into our second half here and see if we're going to be seeing any more T49s coming out for Run. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case.
Nope. No, Run just going to be going with the AMX 1390 this time, and we are going to be seeing a TVP on their side as well. B Gaming just going to be going with the 3 113s and 4 bat chats as well, so nothing too crazy either on their side. Fairly standard play, and I'm liking how they're going for the kind of more mobile setup. We have seen B Gaming in the past go for the single mouse on mines here.
They did win with it as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did. No, they did win with the mouse. And they used it essentially just as a nice little brick that dealt a fair amount of damage.
Yep.
But not going to be going with the mouse this time. Instead, just going to be going with a nice mobile, fast-paced lineup. Those 113s, of course, the Chinese Tier 10 heavy. But when you think about 113, you don't think heavy tank. It's much more of a medium tank in terms of its play style and mobility as well.
So what would we'd be expecting probably to see a hill push coming out from B Gaming here?
I wouldn't count out a hill push right here by B Gaming. That's, they've got the tanks for it. They can pot the 113s up the center of the hill. Maybe even try a little very early boost with some of their bat chats to just get up the hill a nick of time earlier. If they go right for that from the start, then that could work. But overall, they've got a lot of options, B Gaming, and I think no matter how they play, it's going to be tricky for Run.
Yeah, well, I agree. I'm still pretty confident that B Gaming are going to be able to close out this second half here on Mines, but we'll find out shortly as we are heading into the game. Remember, B Gaming are currently 1-0 up after the first half on mines, and it looks like at the moment they're not necessarily going for that hill push actually.
Okay, so right now B Gaming instead, they've got the 3-1-13s that are going to be heading up to the hill, but they're moving for a very aggressive town push early on and actually getting all of their bat chats around the town. This is going to surprise Run.
And this has been timed to perfection as well. You can see the bat chats just coming off reload as they enter the battle here, and now B Gaming, they're going to have to take down this TVP of Keith. They missed a few shots there, unfortunately, but in the end they do take him down. There's a trade out though with Kelvin taking down Matil. This is not looking too great for B Gaming if you ask me. I mean, they took a lot of damage and missed a lot of shots. Once these bat chats are on reload, they might get punished.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit dangerous. They have managed to take down 2 members of Run so far, so that TVP not in the field anymore is going to be quite valuable to them. That thing puts out a lot of damage. Card there. Oh no, he's just taking a huge amount of damage, falling off the hill. Not good news for Mr. Card. And it looks like Run are going right back onto B Gaming.
Run definitely have to continue this aggressive sort of push coming out here because they need to take advantage of those bat chat reloads. And at the moment, it's not happening. B Gaming are getting the better of this one at the moment. You can see they've got about 3.2k HP advantage. Run are losing tanks all over the place. And the 113 here of 7mm has just been pumping out damage.
Yeah, there we go. 7mm has been doing work right here, and now Lineage H in that bat chat is going to need to reload. We've got T4 already with a full clip in that bat chat, 25T AP. So Run should be getting cleaned up here by the rest of B Gaming, and just an excellent flanking push from those guys. Run were not expecting it. And I mean, it shows they got caught out on their sides. There was nothing that that Run could really do once B Gaming came around the corner, because they were essentially caught out in the open on the hill.
Yep.
And I mean, B Gaming could just tear them to shreds.
I thought it was initially going a little bit poorly there for B Gaming because that TVP survived for probably a little bit longer than I would have expected. I think B Gaming might have missed a couple of their shells, but in the end, I mean, they had enough firepower to back them up, and they were able to continue the push through. Once they got onto the reload, they just retreated a little bit, and Run weren't able to take advantage of that small DPM loss, I suppose, on the side of B Gaming. And, well, the aggression coming out from B Gaming definitely caught Run off guard there.
Huge aggression. And that isn't something that we're always used to seeing from B Gaming. You know, they're often the team that will play, particularly on the defensive side, you know, like we've seen before. They'll play with the mouses, they'll play with those slightly heavier tanks and play a little bit further back. But this time, no way, they went straight for it. Those 113s, they didn't give anything away either by pushing up the hill at the start. So, you know, if you Run, you're thinking, okay, they're just setting the 113s up here. Maybe they've sent a few bat chats to the coast potentially, maybe one up on the boost, something like that. But you're not going to be expecting 4 tanks to come around from behind you.
No, you're definitely not. I mean, that was just really good strategy coming out there from B Gaming. As we mentioned, they kind of caught the guys on Run off guard. We'll have a look and see how it turned out here. This was the initial fight. You can see a few of those shots missing onto Keith, but it didn't matter.
Didn't matter at all. Keith just went down right afterwards, and you know, those 113s were kind of in an okay spot, but the issue for Run is that those 2 bat chats on Sun and Lineage H, they came to the fight slightly too late because they were rotating in from the coast.
Yeah. And I think that was really one of the bigger issues there for Run, is that they were essentially fighting a 5v7 for most of that battle.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're fighting a 5v7 against bat chats, like,
well, actually, it wouldn't have even been a 5v7. It would have been more like a 4v7 because the TVP just got instantly
belted.
I think it might have got 1 or 2 shots off at best.
Yep. Yeah, so that wasn't great either. And you know, when you're fighting a 5v7 against bat chats, the issue always is that those bat chats are going to take stuff down so fast, you know, that it can snowball into the opposing team's favour within 20 seconds.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's have a look and see whether or not the TVP actually was able to contribute anything to that battle here. I'm guessing not.
You might be right. I think you are. That was a fairly safe bet. Oh, actually,
was that
saying
Keith that went down straight away?
That was
he got
Keith.
4 off.
Yeah, 4 off. There you go. So the TVP's sub 5 second, kind of empty time for its clip, actually paying off pretty well there. So Keith did manage to at least make an impact before he went down. But the rest of Run, however, can't quite say the same. Unfortunately, we're not able to hit many of those shots at all, or even get many shots off with Cognac Wine there in the bat chat, you know, well, very, very low damage numbers. But I think Run, I mean, that was a quick 2-0 at least.
Yeah.
So they've, can kind of push mines aside and just start thinking about their next map, which, as I believe, is Cliff.
Yep.
So we've got Cliff next. That's going to be interesting because, again, Cliff is going to be both of these teams picking similar sort of lineups, like very fast lineups, lots of bat chats, maybe all bat chats. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But the playstyle is going to be a lot more similar to what we saw B Gaming do just then.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll have a look and see what they are going to pick here coming out onto Cliff and see how it shapes up. Not surprisingly, lots of bat chats and just a TVP chucked in there as well.
Yeah, TVP. Why not throw in a TVP? Of course, that Czechoslovakian Tier 10 medium tank. And actually, interesting to see that B Gaming going to be going with that RU251 instead of an AMX 1390. And actually, they probably aren't going to be going with that RU251.
Yeah, they have a
25T AP. That's probably going to be another 25T AP over there on B Gaming side. But overall, pretty solid lineups. We never see much difference on Cliff.
No.
It's good to see for Run's sake that they didn't go for the T49 there because really it's been so long since we've seen the T49 work on Cliff, and it's like, I mean, yes, it's a fun tank. It can get those big plays, but when you've got a gun with 0.6 meters per 100 meters accuracy and I think a 3.6 second aim time as a base, like against bat chats that are going that fast, it takes a really skilled player. You almost need to main the T49 and only play that to actually be comfortable enough to hit those shots.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And now heading in over to Cliff, our second map here. Both of the first rounds went to B Gaming, so they're currently 2-0 up. But heading on to Cliff, I don't mind this actually coming out for Run. I mean, across the board, Run doesn't have the greatest of map pools, and B Gaming has a very good map pool. But one map that B Gaming doesn't play is Cliff. So, if you're going to pick a map, why not pick your opponent's weakness? Yep,
exactly. I think that is a good train of thought there for Run. But at the moment, we are going to be seeing B Gaming getting a little boost up early on, and Run going for the early mound push. B Gaming aren't quite ready for this, I don't think. So Run, I'm liking their positioning early on, as long as Cognac Wine doesn't get rushed at the middle there.
Well, it looks like he is going to be rushed down here at the moment. He's got a few bat chats to deal with. Should be getting a little bit of backup from his teammates there on Run, but Cognac Wine doesn't have much longer to survive in this battle. He's going to be going down there to Till Matil, and already, again, an early advantage heading in the favor of B Gaming.
Yeah, B Gaming looking great right now. And On Sun, oh no, he's just put himself in a really bad spot. That is going to cost him. And Run at the moment only with 5 tanks left. I mean, it's still not over. This is mine, so let's not forget. So Run with all of these bat chats, if they play it right, catch out a few members of B Gaming, then it is still definitely within the realms of possibility for them to come back. But they need to play this one very, very cautiously. And B Gaming did actually end up going with that Tier 10 bat chat and the RU251. So I think right now 7mm in his bat chat. He's going to be heading around the back. I'm liking how Run are staying grouped up at the moment. That's exactly what they need to do. Just kind of be ready to insta-pop anyone that comes around the corner or anyone that they spot.
The thing that I like about Cliff is that you can't afford to be caught out of position because there's so many bat chats and TVPs running around that the second you've been spotted out in the middle of nowhere, like what On Sun was, you're just off the field.
Yep.
There's no way you're going to survive. So I think it's a map that really punishes mistakes, and I'm a fan.
Yeah, definitely. And I think at the moment, Matt GHK there in his bat chat is going to be falling down the mountain a little bit, and looks like Run is spreading out right now. So not too sure. Cud is got to be a little bit careful there in his bat chat because he's going to be running into 7mm soon, and they're both on roughly the same amount of HP, and they haven't even spotted out each other.
Yeah, that's interesting that they get so close together but have not yet spotted each other. Still, T4 and Cud have a bit of a duel going on here. 7mm should be trying to peek around and give his teammate a little bit of backup, but at the moment, neither of those two tanks going down, so they survive for the moment, but I spoke too soon. Cud going to be going down to Till Matil, and once again, B Gaming just getting another advantage in there sort of position. And this almost reminds me of the first round that we saw coming out on Mines, where B Gaming weren't doing anything spectacular in particular, but they were just getting the slow and steady victory. They're snowballing it and getting all those easy kills, and that's exactly what's happening here again on Mines. Now, all of a sudden, we find ourselves with only a couple of tanks left here on Run. Kelvin going to be going down very shortly as well. He's very low on HP. He actually bounces a shot. So, oh man.
Oh, that would have been hilarious if Lydia J just ran him to death.
Yeah, I was sort of always hoping that was going to be the case.
It would have been amazing, but just taking stock of things, B Gaming right now, Kyung Kyung Power is one shell from death. 7mm 2 should be enough to take him out, but with only a tier 9 and a 89 HP tier 10 bat chat left on the field Run, it is not looking remotely good for them. And B Gaming should be able to close this one out fairly soon, and I don't know, I feel as though Run, like I like their positioning early on. When they pushed all the way up to the mound, but then for some reason they had whoever it was up in the middle, maybe it was
Onsun, right, that got caught out.
Yeah, that got caught out in the middle, and
Onsun.
it kind of snowballed it from there, I guess. Oh no! Look how fast these tanks melt.
Oh well, that's that there on the first half of Cliff, going over to B Gaming. So now putting themselves at 3-0 up, and I mean, it almost feels like the battle hasn't even started, really, and we're already here at 3-0. So
yeah,
some
well,
really quick stuff coming out here from B Gaming.
Very quick stuff, and B Gaming, look, like they obviously aren't joking around coming into this one.
No.
They're not trying any crazy strats. They're not going for anything experimental. They're not thinking that this is going to be an easy game for them. They're just playing to win, and I like to see that because B Gaming, when they play to win, like we can see right there, they're some pretty scary tankers.
Yeah, they certainly are. They've put up a couple of clinical performances coming out here on, well, both of these maps so far. So heading into our replays here on Cliff, I think it's just going to be very similar to what we saw on Mines. Those individual picks just snowballing the game in B Gaming's favor.
Yep.
And this for me was, I don't know what Onsun's doing being in that position, really.
Yeah, on Cliff, if you're in that position, you need your whole team to be in that position with you,
Yeah.
So, well, obviously he didn't have his whole team there, so he paid the price for it, I guess. And that was it for poor Onsun.
That was it as well for Run on the first half of Cliff there. Certainly has been a little bit of a tough game coming out for Run. We'll have a look and see how the damage breakdown turns out, but no surprises there. It's going to be B Gaming taking out 6 of the 7 top page.
Yeah, and look, like coming into this match, I predicted this was going to be a 5-1 to Run, but with the way B Gaming's playing at the moment,
it's looking like a 5-0.
Yes, these are B Gaming's, well, Mines was a B Gaming map. Cliff, again, somewhat similar sort of playstyle to Mines, at least the way B Gaming played it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, a third map Steps, and I just can't see Run really doing too well on that either.
No, I mean, that's another fantastic map coming out for B Gaming. The really weird thing I think about B Gaming is that everyone seems to let them get on their best maps. And I don't know why. We've seen them like 2 days in a row get Mines and Steps. And when you're letting your opponent get both of their best maps, how's that going to turn out, really?
Well, obviously, it's going to turn out not too well because, well, Run are going to be licking their wounds after that one. Going 3-0 so far and maybe even heading towards a 4-0. But the good thing is we can, see here on Cliff that anything can happen because it is such a fast-paced map. If Run do just a good push and catch one member of B Gaming out, that's all it takes on Cliff. 10 seconds of a mistake and you can really punish that and really, convert that into momentum and into a win on Cliff. So, it's still possible for Run to get one in this series and even it up to 3-1.
It is definitely going to be a tough ask, but heading over to the second half here on Cliff, we'll see what they're going to try and use. And unsurprisingly, some more bat chats coming out here, Alex. I think we've talked ourselves to death about Cliff and the bat chats.
Bat chats, yeah.
Almost worth calling Cliff bat chat now instead of Cliff, but I digress. It's still going to be a tough matchup here for Run, and even if they pick up the round here, I don't see them being able to come back from this deficit. I would say Steps is going to be a 2-0 in the favor of B Gaming, so best case scenario for Run at the moment is looking like a 5-1.
Oof, that's pretty tricky.
But even then, I feel like I'm grasping at straws saying that. I'd be looking at a 5-0.
Yeah. Well, I feel as though here this is their chance to, now that they're on the attack, they can try and go for I want to see them go for a full-on rush, just a complete over the hill, over the center, immediate rush, and go straight towards B Gaming before they get a chance to set up wherever they want to set up on the defensive side, and hopefully that'll be enough for Run to take it.
Well, let's see what they opt to go for here. Run looks like they're going to be mostly sticking together. Cognac Wine going to be boosting up the little bit of a cliff there, but they are all sort of heading in the direction of that hill, so you might not be too far off their train of thought. They're going to be going very aggressively straight up into the hill here, and they're going to be running into a massive stack of B Gaming. Oh, Keith, he's found himself in an awful position. He's going to be completely devastated here by B Gaming. Lod picks up that kill, and that's not a great start there for Run, but they do manage to trade one back. Now Matchy HK going to be going down. It's a 2-for-1 trade in the favor of B Gaming at the moment, and all of the damage coming out onto Run. They're not able to deal as much damage over to B Gaming at the moment, and certainly looks like B Gaming getting the better of this one. They drop another tank. It's Lineage H going down to Till Matil, and now, after that very quick flurry of a battle, only 3 tanks remain here for Run.
Yeah, this is not looking great for Run. At least they tried for the rush. I mean, sometimes, oh no, the Ram coming in to take down CMC Kelvin. CMC Kelvin, yeah, not looking good at the moment. But Run, look, they tried at least, and you can't fault them for it. They had the right idea. I felt as though that rush, could have worked if they'd landed a few more of their shots. Obviously, B Gaming, really on point with those guns and with that accuracy today. And that's what matters in these kind of all-in-all brawls, particularly with the mirror matchups.
One thing I noticed was that Cognac Wine hadn't fired a shot throughout that entire initial brawl. So it seemed almost like B Gaming had a bit of a DPM advantage, and I think that's where it was coming from. So I'm interested to see, maybe on the replays we'll get a bit of a show as to what happened there for Cognac Wine. Yeah. I don't know what he was doing, but certainly wasn't firing off any of his shots. So maybe he was sort of out of position, but definitely, important to have all of your tanks firing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that on a map like Cliff, where really, like we saw just then, the fight only takes 20-30 seconds. So to not have a tank in the fight for, the first however many seconds of it can be crippling to your team. So, yeah, definitely agree.
Well, it was a good performance coming out once again from B Gaming. They definitely were able to put Run to the test, I suppose. Run really took it to B Gaming there, but B Gaming, as soon as they picked up Keith, it almost seemed like a foregone conclusion because they got that initial pick. That's one bat chat out of the game. That's a lot of damage out of the game there for Run. And, well, as we all saw, it turned out in the favor of B Gaming quite convincingly as well.
Very convincingly. So let's go ahead and take a look now at...
Where's Cognac Wine?
Where was he?
Oh, he's way back. He didn't get the boost.
Oh,
he failed the boost. That's why he came so late to the battle. You'll see him coming over here.
Yeah.
Utori as well was sort of out of the battle, but you can see he's on the reload. Meanwhile, Cognac Wine still has 4 shots left, so at least Utori was getting some shots across. Cognac Wine, for me, I think really letting Run down a little bit there. Just not in the battle. And obviously when they were going for a strategy like that, going for a rush, you can't afford to be having one of your players still lagging behind.
No, exactly not. And Cognac Wine there, I mean, whether he should have even tried to go for the boost or potentially should he have just, gone up the stock standard way, the pub battle way, the road. I think, unless you can nail that boost 100% of the time, the issue is, like we just saw then, if you're one member down at the start of a battle, if you're on bat chat down, that's so much damage.
Yeah,
that
well,
your
not
team is
just
missing.
one member. I mean, they lost Keith straight away as well. So they were almost 2 guns down the entire battle. So no surprises to see it going that way for B Gaming when they've just got such a tank advantage.
There you go. Well, I'll be interested to see what B Gaming managed to rack up in terms of damage numbers there and who was on top. But it's looking like actually Run was on top with Mr. Cud there, emptying a couple of clips.
Now, Cognac Wine, you can see actually number 6 has 1800 damage, but it was really irrelevant damage.
Yeah.
The battle was already lost.
Exactly. Exactly. By the time he got that damage out, you know, like with these battles, you need to see tanks going down early on, because if you take a bat chat down, well, it's still got, you know, 3 shots in its clip. That's 1,200 damage. That's more than half a bat chat that you've just saved.
Yep.
And that can really snowball. So that's why, you know, focus fire is so important. Getting there early is so important. And, well, really why Run there didn't quite manage to take it out. So 4-0. Run looking like they need a bit of a kick to get themselves back into this one. Otherwise, they'll be running out of our league pretty fast.
I honestly don't see Run coming back into this one at all. I mean, I've already said it. Steps is such a good map for B Gaming. It's the next map coming up in the series here, so I'm looking for B Gaming to close this one out in the first round of Steps. But really interestingly for me is that Run was the one that decided to pick Steps. So why are you picking your opponent's best map? I know the other map in the pool was Moravanka that was left, but I just don't see the sense in picking a map which B Gaming has over an 80% win rate on throughout the first 3 weeks.
It's tricky. And obviously, you know, Run don't have an amazing win rate on Moravanka, but to be fair, Run don't have a very big map pool anyway.
Well, to be fair, they also don't have a very good win rate on Steps.
On Steps,
so
yeah. So tricky for Run, very tricky. But right now, I'm going to be seeing what tank picks these guys are coming into this one with, and nothing too crazy from the looks of things. Lots of Object 140s, of course, that Soviet Tier 10 medium tank. We've got a couple of Bat Chats, RU251 on the side of B Gaming. Object 430 as well, nice and high DPM, Soviet Tier 10 medium as well, which so far we haven't seen too many teams have success with the Object 430. No. But, you know, with a, I think, a 34% win rate. 34 or 37% win rate so far in the season, I think. But overall, you know, I think when it's used well, when you've just got one of them and you manage to kind of sit it back a little bit further back than the rest of your objects and just keep on pumping out the damage, then I feel as though
it's
it really...
28.5%.
Sorry, 28.5%.
Even worse than what you
even worse.
thought. So.
Oh, even rougher for...
no leopards either again here on Steps.
No leopards, which disappointing.
Sort of the ones that we want to see. But regardless, we will be hitting here onto Steps and finding out who's going to be attacking and who's going to be defending. B Gaming starting off on the defense, so I mean they have a 75% win rate on the defensive side of Steps, which is very good. And it's actually good here to see Run starting off on the attack, particularly because they actually have a 50% win rate on the attack on Steps. It's really their defense side that lets them down. So if they're going to get around on Steps, I would say it was going to be the attack. But again, I still would favour B Gaming here. They certainly seem to be the stronger lineup.
Yeah, I think so. So B Gaming right now are going to be pushing quite aggressively on their defensive side and already spotting Run out, getting a few shots towards them. So Run, the question is, do they push and commit towards this 2 flag, seeing that B Gaming there, or do they retreat?
Well, at the moment, it looks like they're just hanging around. They're not necessarily doing either. They are slowly making their way forward, but at the moment, they're just taking free shots from B Gaming. So already, again, B Gaming have a very slight advantage, but these sort of slight advantages do start to build up. And, well, B Gaming off to a decent start.
Yeah, starting pretty well, as B Gaming have in the past, and at the moment we can also see Matil here for B Gaming, making sure that no kind of surprise flanks are coming from the members of Run that are not spotted just yet. So again, great map control, great presence and awareness by B Gaming, making sure that they can't get flanked unexpectedly, whilst also setting their RU251 up to a nice little spot to get some kind of side shots and flanking shots on towards the rest of Run.
Yeah, Matil here should be getting a fair amount of free shots over to Cognac Wine. I think that's the 2nd or 3rd that he's managed to put into Cognac Wine, who is also very low on HP and now in the end dead, only having fired off a couple of the shots in that clip. So a bit of a DPM loss again coming out here for Run early on in the piece, and B Gaming look like they want to take advantage of that. Kyung Power going very aggressively forward here. He's going to duel the 140 of Cud, and he's going to pick up an easy kill here with the next shot coming out. Really, across the board, B Gaming just absolutely dismantling Run.
Yeah, look, they're on runs every which side, and there's no way that Run can fight this on the open cap. It was a bad decision to stay there. They let B Gaming flank them, and they are paying the price right now. B Gaming should be able to 5-0 this with absolute ease. And, well, to be quite fair, this time they are just completely outclassing Run. And I think both of these teams' position on the scoreboard has been clearly reflected in this battle. And look, Run, you know, they gave it a good try. They did decide to push in, so at least showed a bit of kind of communication. Their communication was working. It was just really not the best of choices to do so. Whilst B Gaming had the option to flank them and had already spotted them all out. You know, typically in that situation, when your whole team gets spotted going towards, you know, a certain flag, even like, they were in a position where they could have pulled out. So you really want to reset after that. You want to get yourselves despotted, maybe head around to the top area of the map or send 1 or 2 tanks there to kind of fake something and then go back when the other team's not expecting it. But B Gaming had eyes on Run all the way through.
Yeah, well, that was that for B Gaming and Run. B Gaming picking it up 5-0, but we'll have a look and see how it all went wrong there on Steps, because there certainly were some things that didn't go in their favour, probably a lot of things. And initially, really, they just, I feel, gave up too much of their HP pool to B Gaming for free.
Yeah. Exactly. It was some early trades that didn't go in their favour. That piled on to B Gaming, just pushing on towards the side of them. And it's not an easy cap to defend in 113s and object 140s, right? When you're actually on the cap, because there's no cover. B Gaming were just able to poke over those hills and demolish them.
Well, wasn't too bad of a performance coming out there from B Gaming in general. I mean, they looked just miles ahead of Run on all of the maps, really.
Yep.
I don't think there was any map where it looked like Run was maybe going to pick up a half.
I think so, yeah. I mean, and Run at the moment, like I don't know what they do from here, because they're facing relegations pretty soon. I think part of the issue potentially was that they played very stock standard in terms of their tank picks for every game. You know, we saw just the plain bat chats on Cliff. We saw the plain, you know, generic object 140s and bat chats there on Steps. So maybe if they would have shaken things up in terms of the tank picks a little bit, tried some different strats, might have been able to bring it a little bit closer to B Gaming.
Well, it was certainly a difficult match there for the guys on Run on Steps. We'll have a look and see how the damage charts turned out, but once again, I mean, it's really just the same old story between these two teams. B Gaming taking it pretty much all.
Yep. Lineage H there in that batch at 25T with 2.2 thousand damage. And the Object 140 did a little bit of damage, but, well, it was number 6 for B Gaming. And number 7 overall. I think Utori and his Object 140 dealing 1,000 damage. Yeah, even CMC Kelvin there for Run. Only dealing 100. Well, sorry, only dealing 0 damage in that 113. I was reading the tank name as the damage. So,
yeah,
but not even getting a shot off. Which honestly, I mean, you want to get at least a shot off. I mean, please.
Well, you'd like to think so, but unfortunately for Run, I kind of think that really details how that match turned out for them. They just definitely were not of the same caliber as B Gaming, and B Gaming just ran over them. Really.
Yep. A ran over Run. Oh, well.
I didn't intend to say that like that, but
that was all right.
That's how it turned out.
That was all right. I didn't mind it. But overall, I mean, Run, like, that's this week for them. They're still going to be sitting near the bottom. Twist, I think, are still lower than them by 1 point. But, yeah, it's not looking great.
No, you're certainly right. It's not looking too great at all for Run, but that's it for our first matchup between B Gaming and Run here. Just to remind you, it was 5-0 in the favour of B Gaming. We're going to head to a quick break, but stay tuned. We'll be back in 10 minutes with our featured matchup of today. It's going to be EL Gaming versus the Coalition Zoo. You don't want to miss it.